Every year in Dynasty, there comes a moment where future rookie picks stop being abstract and start becoming expensive. We're standing at that moment right now. And if you're waiting for everybody to be on the same page that rookie picks are valuable, you're going to be too late to the party. My name is Caleb, and welcome to the Dynasty Edge HQ, where I help you think like a GM to take your Dynasty teams from rebuilding to winning championships for many years to come. And today we're going to be talking about why 2026 picks are about to explode in value. Now, if you've been living anywhere near Dynasty or being a part of Dynasty Fantasy Football for the last few months, you've heard that the 2026 class stinks, and everybody's saying it. You can go to any creator online and they're all going to be saying the 2026 class is bad. But just like every single year, we are at an inflection point where the picks are going to rise in value despite it being a bad draft class. And I want to give you some reasons why we are going to actually be at a point where the 2026 class will start to rise in value. And so section number 1, the Dynasty calendar has now flipped. We are at the end of the season, and after that, that's when everything changes. That's when the Dynasty landscape becomes rookie focus and the NFL season is over, and all the attention becomes on the rookies and what teams are doing to benefit their rosters for the next season. And so Dynasty owners are no different than those teams. They're going to be looking at how they build their team out, how they make the best rookie picks for their team, and everybody's looking to kind of gain those rookie picks back. I've been slightly and slowly kind of buying up these 2026 picks up until now because I know that they're going to be gaining value. And I believe we are still at a point where you can get them at a valuable, value decrease so that you can eventually sell them for an increase or pick the players that I think people are going to be going after in the future. And so this discussion about going from players to picks is going to be paramount, and you're going to start seeing so much content around these classes. The second thing that happened, or the next section of this video, we're going to be talking about how the combine creates measurable hype. So the combine is just around the corner. We're about 2 or 3 weeks away at this point, and the combine is starting where we are going to get measurables. We're going to start seeing how fast these athletes are, how fast they do these different drills, if they actually go and test. And so this is where we start to see if these players are going to start rising in their stock. So this is the perfect time before the combine to start grabbing up some of these picks so that if a player does explode, you can trade off of that hype. And if you're a rebuilding team, if you're a contending team, no matter where you're at in your build as far as your Dynasty rosters, this is a great time to go get value for those picks because people have not wanted them. But I promise you, as rookie season approaches, they will want them and they will want those picks. And so you're going to start seeing these prospects start to separate themselves from the rest of the pack. You're going to see perceptions being able to start driving the narrative behind players. And we're going to see some of these players come from nowhere. And this might be a class that we start to like. There have been so many classes since I've been playing Dynasty for the last decade that people have said, oh yeah, that class stinks. They're not going to be any good. And then that class ended up being a very strong class. And I think we just have to look at the strength of the class and make the right moves, and this is the perfect time to go out there and get those picks. Now, number 3, mock drafts and narratives are going to take over your feed. You're going to see so many people start to post mock drafts. You're going to see it on ESPN. You're going to see it on Yahoo. You're going to see it on NFL.com. You're going to see mock drafts everywhere. And so rookie hype is going to build and build and build. And so you're going to start seeing people be mocking, and then everybody's going to have their player takes, what player they like, what player they don't like. And you're going to see that the desire for these picks is going to start to really rise. And this is a major reason why we need to go grab some more of these 2026 picks. Now, I'm not saying go sell the farm for these 2026 picks. I'm not saying trade your 27s for 26. What I'm saying is maybe you were out on 26, but maybe you can get back in at a value. Maybe you can trade some of those veterans that have been producing for those 2026 picks if you don't need them. If you have any excess on your roster, maybe you trade a few players for a pick. Maybe you get back into the third round. Maybe you get back into the second round or even into the first. I think you can find great value. I've made some trades recently where I went after the 101 and I traded like a 106 and a 2028 first to get up to the 101. That's how low people are valuing these 2026 picks. That's a great value for a player like Jeremiah Love. We are going to see values like this in the offseason, and it's just going to get harder and harder to get those picks. So you definitely want to go after these picks now because the hype is going to build. Number 4 is that free agency is clarifying team needs. So as free agency comes next month and teams start to pick up those players to fill roster holes, we're going to have a much clearer picture on what every single team needs. And these prospects start to fall into place into these different teams that have a need at their position. And so you're going to start to see players rise because they were a wide receiver that somebody needed, or maybe they're a running back that teams, hey, they weren't able to capitalize on the free agent market, so they need a running back. Maybe a player rises, and so this is a great time to look at the measurables, look at what people are desiring, what these mock drafts are saying, and what free agency is telling us about what the teams need. This is a great time to get those 2026. So as those things are happening, people start to build up scenarios in their head about why their team is going to pick that player and why they need that pick. And if you're the one with the picks, you can make insane deals. This is the time to hold on to your picks because this is where value really starts to rise. But it's also time to go grab them before the hype train leaves the station. Because once it leaves, it's going to be very hard to get these picks even on a down year. And then NFL trades are always going to add fuel. As free agency opens, we also see the opening of the league year and trades start to happen between teams. And this is a time to capitalize not only on these trades happening and new narratives around the players that are being traded, but also just like free agency, trades tell a story. They tell a story of what the teams are doing, and people are starting to build these stories in their head about what their team needs and why they need to go after and get that pick. This is like my guy season where I'm going to go get my guy in the draft, and they're going to go after that. And if you hold the picks, you're going to be able to dictate that price in your league. So I see it as a great time to go capitalize on the value that's about to spike. If you hold some of those picks, you're going to find some value, and they're super cheap right now. Even on websites like Keep Trade Cut, Dynasty Daddy, 2026 picks are often even less valuable than 2028 picks. That's the point that we're at. That's how low people are in the class right now. And so it's a great time to go pick up some of these picks. Look at the values. Put in a trade calculator if you have to. A lot of people talk crap about trade calculators, but they are great tools to be able to use to help your team build trades to go send to people and make it a fair trade. And so I think it's great to use. They're not the end all be all, but it's a great way to find players at a good cost. So this is a great way to go after those 2026 picks. And again, this is rookie hype season. This is what will dictate the next few months leading up to the NFL draft. The NFL draft will tell us the biggest story, and that's the biggest point at which the draft picks are going to be worth the most. And so if you can get some of those picks, if you can get them before the time that it's about to explode, because those picks are going to go up and up. We have the trade deadline, we have free agency, we have, the combine, we have the NFL draft coming up, and these picks are about to go up in value significantly over the next few months. So go make deals. I just encourage you to stay active. Find a deal today. Even if you make one trade a week and you're getting one pick a week at value, you can really set your team up for success down the road. And then if you're selling on draft night or the night before the draft or whatever night that your team is drafting, your league is drafting, that's a great point to which go and sell those picks unless you're going to make that pick. The time that I traded for the 101, I plan on making that pick unless somebody comes in and gives me a Godfather offer. If somebody gives me a better offer, I'm sending it out. And so I think it's a really good idea to grab these picks now, prepare for the hype, because I promise you it is coming. It happens every single season. So what are smart dynasty managers doing right now? They're evaluating the team timelines honestly. So whatever your team timeline is, evaluate it honestly. Figure out what your team needs. Can you spare some players to go get some of those picks? Can you set yourself up for the future? Is there a way that you can get 2026 picks at value and go do it? I think it's a great time. Picks are the one thing that are always going to rise in value. You don't have to worry about, from February to March, is that 2026 pick going to go down in value? No. If you trade it for a player from February to March, there's a lot that can happen that player can go down in value. So picks always go up in value. Always be tracking the market sentiment on players, be tracking the market sentiment on the class, be tracking the market sentiment on, the draft process and just keep track of what the narratives are. If you can play narratives, that's half the game in Dynasty. You can really make some moves for your team by playing narratives, knowing the timelines, knowing the storylines in the NFL, and you can make a difference. One of the biggest things that I've looked at on Sleeper now is that you have, those icons next to people's names and it shows their favorite teams. If you see somebody that has a player that's being mocked to their team, go make them a trade. Hey, I heard that they're going to be taking, Jeremiah Love. You should grab this draft pick. And then they might pay up for it because they think their team's going to go after that player. It's a great way to just grind the edges, to find advantages in your league, to be able to get the players and help your team gain value. And this is the time, how you gain an edge. What a smart Dynasty owner does is they make moves right now. This is a moment for your team to set yourself up for the future. And so I believe that it's all about capitalizing on moments like this where the value is about to go up. We're at a low point and it's just going to rise and rise and rise. So take advantage of that in your league or in any leagues that you're in. Go out there, make deals, grind those edges, make those deals that you can, send off the players that are just sitting on your roster. You might be able to get 3rd, 4th round picks, which then you can pile together and get a 2nd round pick and go all the way up to a 1st round pick. You can make those edges happen if you just make moves. So be active. Don't wait for deals to come to you. Go make the deals. Send out the offer. What I always do is make a trade offer and then tag that person's name in the DM. Make sure they see it. Send out the offers. Don't just put it on the trade block and you'll find yourself getting towards success. 2026 our picks are about to explode in value. And I believe this is the time we could take advantage of in Dynasty Fantasy Football. Now, if you have any trades that you've made for 2026 picks, if you have any questions or things that you're wondering about this class and you want to ask, comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this video, what you think are ways that you can grind those edges, and let's grow as a community and become the best Dynasty players and begin to think like GMs so we can go win championships for years to come. See you in the next video.